So I kept seeing everybody flash in and out. So I don't know if that was, I was wondering if you guys saw me flashing in and out.
No.
No.
So about probably 20 minutes into the session, every square just kept flashing in and out.
Oh.
So I didn't know what that was. And then when we were going for our final practice, I still practiced anyhow, but it just went blank. It just, you said, let's begin. And it went blank.
Uh,
So hopefully
Yeah.
better luck this week.
so
And
consistent, regular practice with commitment over a length of time changes the mind. If I am translating a particular verse, I remember long back, perhaps in 1992 or 3. Oh, Casey went to India to see my master's monastery, the one monastery which is at the bank of the Ganges, and the other one at the height of 12,000 feet in the Himalayas. So we were in the Himalayas, and I went for about a week. And so in the evening, Master was lying on the couch, and he said, for how many days you are here? I said, just for about a week. Oh, so he said, look at the Ganges River, and it's a beautiful sound. And you are with the Master, and you have come only for a week. So I looked at him and I said, no, it is done, As long as, you want me to be with you, I will remain with you. So we spent about 3 months until the heavy snowfall starts and we come down from the higher to the lower plane. So I don't forget those 3 months. I know I had to be, I was working with the government and I was not paid for about 3 months. But perhaps those 3 months changed my life. The message is very clear that listening, learning is first. Listening and learning the principles and the practices. You are not listening and learning to me. You're listening and learning to those principles and the concepts. And listening and learning in a live session, then repeat listening every day without fail. What happens? Gradually, it brings a sense of detachment. Detachment leads to dispassion. I was just talking to Charlie, and that's what she was saying. I said, yeah, that is the way it works. And when there is a state of dispassion, the mind is naturally steady. I need not to focus the mind. I need not to force the mind. I need not to control the mind. And that natural steadiness of the mind results into a deeper and a higher meditation where the ignorance is gone. But that is the entire process. So when I say the consistent listening and learning, before that, all the other practices comes into practice, whether it is a hatha yoga, or you can say the mantra, including the kundalini, all those practices comes much before that. Your mind is not listening. Your mind is crazy. So obviously then we have to employ certain methods to bring it on the table. Bring it in the table means that it is now ready to listen. If it is not listening, and I'm not doing the repeat listening, what is the repeat listening? Repeat listening is just the contemplation and reflection. Now, some people may think, what do you think? I have understood the principle, what you are talking about. So who understands these principles? It is the intellect that understands the principles. The mind doesn't follow it. So there are two parts. You look at the beauty, the way at the subtler level these masters understands our mind and the intellect. An average intellect, my friends, average intellect, I'm talking of the human race, not talking of other living species. Average intellect, who has an average intellect, can understand anything in the world. And still we do not undergo a change. Why? So there the master says, one is the understanding in the intellect, and then the understanding has to be realized by the mind. What the mind does, it's a way of life. One is the vision of life, and other is the way of life. If they do not match, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You make claim that I have understood all the principles. Very good. You have understood the principles. Yeah. So my intellect, the knowledge, and that understanding must be realized in the mind. That mind means the way of life. My impulsive, instinctive, and nature of the mind should change to bring about a new level of awareness. Just I summarize. So last week, what we did, we understood that it is better we should recognize the restless mind, which is running after the pleasure, and that is just the outermost layer of the mind. Now you see that you compare. I understood, and now the mind is preventing me. Why the mind is preventing me? Because the outermost layer is full of impurities. Why? What is the impurities? It is going after the pleasure. It is identifying with the body. So after once the moment the mind starts looking after the pleasure, the second problem of the mind comes. That is what we say, the projection. Which food you like? I like pasta, for example. Oh, pasta gives me pleasure. It is a projection. Pleasure does not contain in the pasta. Look at it. So the first is the impurities, strong likes and dislikes, and then it colors the pasta, or for example, any food that you like, or any car that you like. And the third, why it happens because of the ignorance. What is ignorance? It is a false notion. So the three factors are these three factors which I discussed covers the gift of the real self offered to all of us by the existence. I'm reminding you that somebody sends you the gift. So normally we have three layers, and the gift may be very small. So there is a small box, and then there is a big box, and then there is a wrapping. Same thing, we have a real self. The outermost layer is the impurity, second layer is the projection, and third is the ignorance. Behind that, there is a real self. Can you tell me that gift is ever polluted by these three layers of the boxes? No. We are very careful. The existence is very careful that our real self can never suffer from any stress, anxiety, duality, and a conflict. It is all because of these three layers. Think. We have to think and contemplate. Whenever we are surrounded by anxiety and duality and a conflict, we have to contemplate and reflect. We have to find out one of these three layers, how it is causing me the suffering. If it is not, the moment we explore it, then we get rid of these problems. Any problem you tell me. Any problem you can tell me, any suffering you tell me, and I will help you explore how these three layers causes this suffering. Why? Because we are not made up of the suffering. This is what the masters have been saying. It is very challenging for us when I have a knee pain to say that I'm not suffering. My body is suffering. Intellect may remind you, but the mind says, no, you are suffering. Unless I am detached with the body. Intellect may say that no, I don't identify with the body. But I have a pain. So the moment I say I have a pain, it is a projection. So to summarize, we have to uncover that real self. Real self. We had a wonderful discussion with Anne yesterday in her session. So now what comes next? Okay, you say it's a real self. So is there anything false? Yes. That is why we say it is a real self. So in today's session, never forget these 6 characteristics of the real self and compare it with anything that comes to your mind. First characteristic of the real self is, we say, eternal. What it means eternal? It bypasses the time. What it means by it bypasses the time? It was present in the past, it is present in the present, it will continue to be present in the future. The more you contemplate and reflect, your intellect says it means that if I die, my body dies, but I don't die. So it means that real self is different from the body. Simultaneously, I'm comparing with the real self and the false. Then the second characteristic comes that the real self does not have any shape. Oh, the false have any shape? Yes, body has a shape. Why we say it is a false? It is keeps on changing. Charlie, you are the same when you were born, you were Charlie. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and now you are still Charlie. Body has changed. Mind has changed. Now you see, comparing real self, false self simultaneously. So now think of it that if there is a thing which is known as the real self, we are, that is eternal and that has no shape. What is the third characteristic? It's a very logical conclusion. There is nothing, nothing like cult, dogma, belief, and reason. So when you see it is a thing is eternal, it does not have a shape, then that real self has to be all pervading. What does it mean by all pervading? I'm just giving you a very brief a glimpse of it. The entire Gita talks about this. The entire Gita is based on these 6 characteristics, and which helps us to realize the real self. All pervading. So all pervading, just for an example, think of it. Imagine. All pervading means that there is no barrier of your house, my house, your body, my body, your city, I'm already present there and you are already present here. There is no space left where I'm not present, where that I is the real self. What is that? That is a pure consciousness. Is that pure consciousness? I am, yes. Why we say pure consciousness? Mental consciousness is always impure. I'm just giving you a glimpse of it with a cause and effect. Why cause and effect? That is known as understanding. Any knowledge we understand by the cause and effect. Anyhow, leave this. we will go deeper. The fourth characteristic that it cannot be objectified. What it means? I see the mouse. The mouse is an object and I'm a knower of the mouse. The moment anything is objectified, it becomes inert. Because I'm consciousness, it cannot be objectified. I have a severe headache today. I have objectified, hence I'm not headache. I'm neither the head nor the headache. I'm talking of very high principles that I will explain to you, but I'm laying a foundation today. Fourth one. And hence, because it is all pervading, it cannot be objectified, it is eternal, therefore it cannot be the doer and the enjoyer. So I'm not a listener. Yes, you're not a listener. How can you say I'm not a listener? Who is listening? Your ears and the mind. Can you trace who is this I behind your eye, behind your ears and the mind? So we say there is an I thought in the intellect that becomes the listener. It is an I thought. Just to clarify so that you can listen to it again and contemplate and reflect a little more. We talk of the ego. So normally when we talk of the ego, we say it opposes, ego means it opposes humility, it opposes, kindness. We are not talking of that ego. That ego is not our subject in the Eastern wisdom. The moment we say ego, technically we say it is an I thought. From where it comes into the intellect. And then it slowly slips into the mind, which is impulsive, which has got the impurity and projection and ignorance. And then we say, I am suffering. So that I thought claims I am the doer and the experiencer. But behind that, there is a consciousness. So that is the fifth. And the sixth characteristic is that it does not undergo any modifications. Modifications means change. It is unchanging reality. Body undergoes a change. First, it is in the womb of the mother. Then it exists outside the womb of the mother. Then it grows. Body grows vertically. We grow horizontally because of our impurities of the mind. Nature does not help the body to grow horizontally. We grow horizontally. It is our mistake. Did you understand? No, we grow our excess fat, etc., etc. Then, after a certain time, it stops growing vertically. Then it grows. It aging, old age, dies. Real self never dies. These are the six characteristics. At the same time, I compared a bit. I just gave you the glimpse of the false self and the real self. What is the goal? To find the real self. Why to find the real self? Because the real self brings an end to the suffering. One, and then that real self is of the nature of permanent peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. What that state is known as, that state is known as nirvana and awakening. Also, once I reach there, then I will never have a suffering. Answer is yes. Who says? Every master says. They define in a different way. You bring an end to the cycle of birth and death. Because of the modifications, because of the ignorance, I undergo the cycle of birth and death. And hence, Buddha says you bring an end to this suffering. That is why it says nirvana. We say moksha or kaivalya, different word. What is that? We simply uncover. We remove all the three layers of the gift offered to us by the existence. Very good. I have understood. What is next? So, what is next? So, the first principle that we have covered maybe 2 or 3 weeks before. So, this is the understanding that there is a non dual real self, pure consciousness, veiled by or covered by these three layers, which we say impurity, projection, or distraction. You can use the word, and ignorance. So, ignore that is. The second verse that we went to, that Master says that ignorance can only be removed by knowledge. Just giving an example, you need to contemplate on that. For example, I want to know your name. So you say to me, no, first do the 10 minutes of breathing, do meditation, and then you will come to know my name. By action, I cannot remove ignorance. Ignorance can only be removed by knowledge. That is the third layer, the innermost layer. Other two layers, what is known as projection and impurities. 80% we need a knowledge, 20% we need a practice. I need an understanding how it is projected. I see the mirage water and I see, let me do the breathing practices so that this mirage will disappear. No, it will not. Are you getting it? But we don't think about it in this way. Because when you do the repeat listening and learning, oh, then your mind clicks, oh, yes, you are right. So I see the mirage water, which appears real to me. And when I approach the mirage water, I don't see it. It dissolves. The false dissolves. How it dissolves? By understanding the cause and effect, by removing the ignorance by knowledge. That is why we have 3,000 texts. That's why the teachers in this Eastern wisdom keeps on talking and keeps your mouth shut. That you keep on listening. Why listening? Because intellect must first understand, and that understanding must be realized by the mind. It changes the vision and the way of life. That is the second verse from this text. And the third verse, again, Master stresses. Now you see the way the Master teaches. The same teaching, same method of the teaching is present in Yoga Sutra and other texts. So the third verse, it says, as long as the impurities are not weakened, or you can say minimized, or the distractions or the projections are not understood and removed or minimized, there is no chance. There is no chance of succeeding in meditation. No, but I can sit in meditation for an hour. Yeah, half the time mind is distracted. Another 1/3 of the time, your mind is sleeping because it is carried away by the so many thoughts. It doesn't work. That's why many people say, I've been doing the practice of meditation for 20 years. Result, lot of distractions. 80% knowledge, 20% practice. Impurities must be weakened. Correct my English, you all are English speaking, original English speaking people. So you can correct it. At least I can convey the message so you can understand. So the master is saying as long as these impurities are not weakened. What are those impurities? There are 6 in number. We will talk later. You see the stepwise understanding. We are simply, at present, we are talking of the impurities, and then we will understand cause and effect. What do you talk of the impurities? We'll talk about. There are 6 impurities. Again, the 6 has subtitles, the subgroups, one of which is I thought. One of which is I thought. That we will talk. What is the principle? Simple principle. I have to reduce the mental impurities to arouse the interest. Then only your mind arouses the interest. Oh, I have to go after this self-discovery. Then you don't leave the practice on a single day. Come what may. Your commitment comes. So you see that minimizing the impurities, sincerity and commitment takes place. If you don't minimize the impurities, your intellect says, no, I am committed. I have understood. Don't tell me to repeat it. Don't tell me to repeat it. Don't tell me to repeat it. Who is saying this? I thought. That itself is the impurity. Are you getting it? Very subtle, but not very subtle, so that you see that? That is the basic problem. That is why the master says, please listen and learn. Satasangatve nisasangatvam. Satasang. We use the word discourse. So difference, last point, I have talked enough. So there's this difference between a discourse and the teaching, preaching. You go to the religious gathering, they preach, don't do violence, be kind. They don't tell you why. But Eastern wisdom says, no, we will tell you why. If you are kind to others, you are helping yourself. You're not helping anyone. Be very clear. You're helping yourself. How? We will talk about it. We'll understand that. Now, I've been very kind to others, and I am still suffering. Many people say, why you are suffering? Because that I thought created the kindness and covered your personality with the kindness. You have been kind to many people. Are you kind to me? Be kind to me. Close your eyes. Let's just close your eyes. Why I should be kind to you? That is again an I thought. Eyes are closed. So last week we understood being comfortable in 2 steps. So understand the sub-steps of being comfortable. We are treating the path seriously. So the first way of being comfortable is that you look at what? You look at the neck joint. You don't need to become a habitual. That's why I'm helping you to understand. In each step, I'm using the same phrase in the word for step, but going deeper. So the first, you look at the neck joint, be there, feel the sensation, comfort and steadiness, shoulder joints, sensation, comfort and steadiness, entire body, how fast, but how easy, in a natural way, your body becomes steady means what? Mind steady means what? Sensations means mind has started moving within, or I would say looking within. Our goal is not relaxation. Goal is if the mind changes its direction. Oh, that you mean by being comfortable? Yes. The comfort is a byproduct. And the last week I covered another part of being comfortable. So then you look inside the body. What do you see? Look inside the body is the space. What is space? Space is the emptiness. What is this emptiness? It is a projected emptiness by the impure mind. But even if it is a projected emptiness by the impure mind, is better than distraction. That then we will go deeper. So it means now the thoughts are still coming, no issue. We will go to the second step. Second step is being carefree. Second step is being carefree. Thoughts are coming and going. Very good. Let it come and go. What we are doing when we say thought is coming and going? It simply means you are standing across the road and watching the traffic. Traffic is going and coming. What it means? So using that simply in a metaphor means no thought belongs to me, no thought is me and mine. Don't use the prefix me and the mine before any thought, unwanted, unwelcome thought. So what it means? You're teaching the mind, you are teaching the mind, what you're teaching? You're teaching the mind, educating the mind. I would use the phrase, you are educating the mind. Can you make it? You are educating the mind what exactly is detachment. You should experience, live into that state. If you don't live into that state, there is no use of these practices at all, my friend. Pay attention. Any thought comes to your mind, which you have branded as a craziest thought, good, best thought, a high thought, loftiest thought. No, I am separate. The way I am separate from the BMW and Mercedes and the car I own. No effect. Understood. Yes, I understood. Now, this doesn't happen so easily. So, what should we do? So, we say, okay, a lot of thoughts are still coming. So, what I will do? I will use the mantra. Unwanted thoughts are coming. Say, for example, now I have a stress, and you say asatoma satagami. Again, the mind goes with the stress, and I have lot of problem with you. Asatoma satagami. It is not that you are repeating during the practice. Whenever unwanted thought comes, and you replace it with the mantra. So we are using the mantra asatoma satgamaya. Asatoma satgamaya. So first we recite, that is the way. We should not recite this mantra like a rap song. That is also very clear in our tradition. We'll talk about that later. So I recited, then I intellect is thinking about the meaning. lead me from the false to the real. We have already discussed what is false self and what is real self. And then we come to the knowledge. Pick up any characteristics of the real self. Pick up the last one. Anything that is changing is false. My body is changing, yes. Mind is changing, yes. Intellect is changing, yes. I thought is changing, yes. Outer situation changing, yes. That is not me. By repetition, by reflection, the mind starts minimizing its what? Impurities. Let us do the second one. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Lead us from ignorance to wisdom. What is ignorance? Is a misunderstanding, the false notion, the ideas that is stored in the mind, being repeated again and again. And what is that knowledge? This knowledge of the real self does not have any anxiety, duality, conflict. Then why I'm having it? You have a right answer because of the impurity, projection, and ignorance. Oh, so I need to work on that. Yes. Mrityorama amritangamaya. Mrityorama amritangamaya. So I translate that for sake of easy understanding. Freedom for the mind to freedom from the mind. My mind says I like pasta, for example. So that is, and I always give pasta whenever mind demands. This is means freedom for the mind. And what is freedom from the mind? I bring in the intellect, I reflect on it. What the heck, why you are seeking all the time? Are you hungry? No. But I want pasta. Mind is saying. Intellect says no. At least it puts the element of no without any resistance. Did you understand the meaning of the mantra? That how the mantra can be applied. So I will be talking about all these steps would be same, but I'll change the entire perspective of it so that you'll have a deeper understanding of it. So we have done this. So now, still the mind, you see that we don't see the real self. Why? Layers. We are mindful. So what we should do, we will follow another step to purify the mind. And one of the good ways, one of the ways is purify the mind is to breathe. But now that in that breathing, what we do, so look inside the forehead in the space and start breathing into the chest through the nostrils. There should be an expansion and contraction of the rib cage. So expansion and contraction, it means what? You are aware of it. Expansion of the ribs. Third, rhythmic. Rhythmic breathing. Third point of awareness, you are keep looking into the space. We will add something more later. Continue breathing, and then you will see because your mind keeps looking inside. It is not running after anything while breathing has a tremendous effect. Why? We will understand that. The mind says, no, I cannot do it for a longer period. So it means resistance. And there you have to endure it. As long as I'm saying you keep on doing it. So endurance results into acceptance. There the habit of the mind changes. That is what we need to understand. This is the first understanding of this short and the quick breathing. And now stop this. Stop the breathing, do nothing. Experience any resistance. Recognize the changes, the resistance, feeling good, or otherwise factor. No issue. So I picked up a practice based on the group. Another step, you look at the breath and start breathing deep, silent, and slow. So what it means by the deep, silent, and slow breathing? That first, as the breath goes in, first you inhale into your belly. Inhale into the belly. Why I say at least you feel the sensation there. And you continue breathing. Then you breathe into the chest. It is one breath. And as you exhale, you breathe out from the belly and from the rib cage. So when you find the breath is rhythmic, now you have to understand, you have to contemplate and reflect what we are doing in this step. So now what we see that mind is looking within on the deep, silent, and slow breathing. We did the deep breathing, and we are doing the deep breathing. As you inhale, you start dropping Shanto Hum 3 times on the inhalation and 3 times Shanto Hum on the exhalation. What it means? Your breath is going in. The moment it goes in, you are saying Shanto Hum, Shanto Hum, Shanto Hum. Inhalation is complete. During exhalation, depending on your rate and the rhythm of the breath. Don't worry, because if I have done it slower, you can adjust the rhythm. So adjusting that is very important. During exhalation, you are doing dropping Shanto Hum 3 times. Shanto Hum, Shanto Hum, Shanto Hum. We are raising our awareness to go beyond projection and the impurity. Oh, you are still doing the same thing, yes. You will discover the body becomes naturally steady. You need not to make the body steady and motionless. You may feel a tremendous sensation in and around the body. That too is good, except no resistance. Well, this is just the beginning of a series, so we will understand this. This meditation will become yours practice. That is my goal. And Now what you have to do, you have to drop the breath rate and rhythm is the same, but you drop Shantoham 2 times. Is the mind ready to say little in a singing tone? Shantoham, Shantoham. We don't want the mind should be mechanical. The length of the breath is the same, but only two Shantoham. But this time it's more softer. The mind finds more space. What is going to happen? The mind continues to live within. We'll understand that in the following sessions deeply. I'll explain each and every aspect. And now drop only one Shantoham. One Shantoham, but the breath remains the same. And now we leave the active part. What is the active part? Allow the breath to be normal. Drop the deep, silent, slow breath. Watch the breath is going in and out on its own. And on that breath which is going in, just drop Shantoham as it goes in itself, Shantoham. So now you see that we have left doing the practice. It's a casual dropping, just an awareness of Shantoham. Shantoham means I am the peace. When you find non-verbal awareness of the Shantoham merges with the breath incoming and outgoing breath, you are definitely in a deeper state. You're doing nothing. Mm. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. And if you have any questions, so bring. So, how are you, Anne?
I turned it off. Is it on?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I feel very good, very still inside, and
Good.
my mind empty.
Mind is empty. Wonderful. That is wonderful. How are you, Charlie?
I'm good. I had a very busy mind. My mind was not wanting to let go, so I just kept letting go, kept letting go.
Yes, yes, yes. So you have to listen again and again. I told you, I just used the phrase before any thought, if you added the me and the mind, that does not want to leave. It's my thought, it's an I thought, it's a mind thought. But otherwise, every thought is independent.
Mm.
You say any thought, it can be my thought, it can be your thought, it can be anybody's thought.
Right.
So why the mind is busy? Because me and mind.
Yeah. Mhm.
So that sense of detachment has, sometime it comes, sometime it doesn't come. It's okay. It's a part of the journey. How are you, Casey?
I am well. I don't usually have a lot of mind interference in the form of thought. Today I had a little bit more, my body, not me, I had a little bit more pain. And so I found it interesting that my mind was running two mantras at the same time in busyness. So I could hear Shanto hum in the forefront, and I also heard I am not my body running at the same time. Maybe I directed that thought, but it helped me not have the pain. It helped me not have the throbbing in my knee or the other, stuff that the body has. So I had less body distraction this week than 2 weeks ago when it was more of a twitching in response, a tightness in the body. Today, I'm just having a pain day. So I heard both mantras at the same time. I didn't have much in the way of thought. I just had mantra or nothing in thought and notice the body with some pain. But it wasn't pulling me out. Was that helpful?
Yeah, yeah.
I know
So
I'm not
what?
the body,
Yeah, yeah,
and I do know I'm not the body. I know that. In my heart of hearts, I know that I'm not tempered by this body. but the body still has a way of producing pain that's unwanted. And I found this helpful in working through that.
Yes, in the beginning it is good. So I know by sure that I am not the body. I sure that this is not my house. This is a neighbor's house. So whatever is happening in the neighbor's house is not mine. So even the pain is not mine. Even the pain is not mine.
Thank you.
So that we will go slowly to that level. One is clear. The intellectual understanding is clear that I am not the body, but the body is still producing the pain.
Mm.
This is not my neighbor's house, but the neighbor, I still have a lot of problem with this house. So there is some attachment still goes on. But in the beginning, yeah, it helps. And gradually we will move into a little deeper, not only the practice, but also the understanding. And there comes the three bodies principle. How are you meet?
I felt I really allowed myself to go on that whole journey of breathing. But I've kind of held it in my head in a certain way before, but I allowed all that sequencing of sound and breathing to really bring me home. Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Bringing you back to the home. That's a good thought and good understanding. So remain at home this week. And
Being at home.
we will meet again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you
Yes,
very
sir.
much. Thank you, sir. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.